Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. I got this fever, and the only cure is more cowbell. Whoa, it's cold out there this morning. It's like, what, 4:30 was 19 degrees. It's gone up to about 24 now, 25. But the barometer's dropping. It was at 29.48 at 4 o'clock this morning, 4:30 this morning. Now it's down to 29.30 and dropping. 52% humidity, that's even gone down. It's a nice, pretty clear day out there, though, for December day. It's a beautiful day, a little bit chilly, but nice anyway. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is Your City, Your Voice. It says so up there. And we're in the studios of 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And I'm just making sure everything's working here. The streamer's working, the recorder's working, the video seems to be working. I guess we're all right. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. What are we going to talk about today? Well, we've got lots to talk about, actually. We have a city council meeting coming up on Monday. I took a cursory, I call it, look at the agenda, and we'll be talking about that for a minute. And a couple of viewer comments, and that'll get us right into the show, and we'll just keep on going until probably 1 o'clock. That's when I like to end, around 1. Hang tough. First, I have to get to my sponsors. I love my sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And we got a beautiful sunny day out there. Now's a great time to give Ken Hunter a call and say, Ken, you got to check out my car for winter. I don't want to break down. You can take your car to see Ken Hunter. He's going to look at your car from A to Z, top to bottom, on his diagnostic equipment, fix any problems for you, check your heater core, your antifreeze to make sure your engine don't freeze. That would be a big bummer. Your brakes, put your snow, whatever you need done, he's going to have it done. And if you don't even know what you need done, he'll tell you what you need done. And then you're not going to break down in the winter, and you're going to be a happy camper. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Full body shop. If you get in any kind of a wreck, take your car there. Ken will bring it in, fix it, send it to you in showroom condition. He does it all there. Let's face it, wildbillsauto.ca, and that's the website. Go check it out. And while you're there, jump over to my YouTube page, Paul Lemire 4973. 4973, that's my YouTube page. You can also look for Your City, Your Voice. Pretty simple. Check in, subscribe. It costs nothing. I'm at like 194 subscribers. I want to get to 200 before Christmas. 6 more of you. Come on. Share it. Get your friends to get in there. Check it out. We're talking about the budget, the capital budget, the operating budget, the regional budget. We're getting you ready for the election that's coming up next October, not even a year away. We got another election coming up, and we want to have a city council that works for us. That means you have to be informed. That means you got to get out and vote. And that means you should be on this channel. And you should be joining the Property Taxpayers Alliance Facebook page to find out what's going on in your area. PropertyTaxpayers.ca is the website. You should be involved in all that. Knowledge is power. That's why you want to tune into the show. That's why you want to subscribe. That's why it costs nothing to subscribe. Nothing. It's absolutely free. But you're going to get notifications. You're going to know what's going on, and that's so important in today's world. You got to know what's happening. You got to know what's going on downtown on Queen Street. They take your money and they blow it. If they're going to spend it, at least spend it wisely. And that's up to you, because you make the decision in the polling station. You decide who's going to sit there and handle your money. What can I tell you? Anyway, go to our sponsors. Come on. And Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. I'll talk about that at around 1:30. And we'll get you talking about pizza. Oh, my favorite thing, pizza. I love pizza. Yeah, that's my favorite food, actually. Pizza. I love pizza. Pete's Pizza is the one I like. Pizza, no, not so much. Pizza. Bellissimo. Okay, let's get into a meteor crater report. Well, nothing to report. Nothing to report. It's just sitting there idle. And I don't think there's going to be anything till March. The builder said March is when they're going to start. I don't see it happening. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about it on at the city council meeting. They'll be talking about it on Tuesday. Tuesday is the city council meeting, the last one of the year, right? December the 9th, last one of the year. And as we move into it, it'll be the ratification of the capital budget, I would imagine. That's what's going to happen there, as well as the planning for the meteor crater across the street, 10-story apartment building. Now, this is the last budget for this council because the next budget in 2006, and they'll be budgeting for 2007, will be done by a new city council. So if you're like with the job these guys have been doing, they raise your taxes to 25% over the last 4 years, something like that. Then you vote for them again. If you want somebody who's going to take care of your money and watch your money so you don't have to have huge tax increases, you may want to replace a few of them. So we'll see what happens come the election time. But if you pay attention, a smart voter, smart property holder, smart taxpayer, the best thing that could happen. It's the best thing that could happen. Okay, so let's see. I don't know. They fenced it all up over there. It's fenced up. I don't know why they spent the money to fence it. Why bother spending all that? Fencing is expensive. I don't know if they rent it or they own it, but whatever it is, it's expensive to have up there. It's not cheap. Why they spent the money now if they're not starting to March? Oh, it's a safety issue. No, it isn't. It's been like that for 8 years with no fence around it. What safety issue? Kikatsu, your safety issue. Kikatsu. These guys are nuts. They're full of baloney. They gaslight you all the time. Okay, viewer comments. At the Iceman 69, Gerald Spencer held the position of manager of municipal enforcement services at the city of Niagara Falls in 2024. Okay. And he received a salary of $118,000, $706.92, $118,706.92, as per the records provided by the government of Canada. And I would suspect that it's from the Sunshine List, of course. And thanks for that info at the Iceman 69. We'll have to watch and see what the Wayne Gretzky of municipal manager of municipal enforcement services and security. They added another title on there, and security. We'll see what he gets paid, but I guarantee you when Mayor Jim calls him the Wayne Gretzky of meter maids, I guess that's what he is, he's going to be part of the meter maid brigade. I can imagine you don't hire Wayne Gretzky for cheap. Going to be more expensive. How do we find out? I don't know. I have no idea how we find out what his salary is. I don't know if it's a private thing. It'll eventually come out on the Sunshine List because he's going to be $120. He's going to be more than this guy that took off to Niagara Lake. He's going to be probably $1. Oh, who knows? Maybe $1.30, $1.40. I have no idea. I don't know. It's scary to even think about it. Wayne Gretzky, we got working for us. That's what he's called. I don't know what he's going to do. I have no clue. If anybody can enlighten me what this guy's going to do that gets paid $120 grand a year and why they didn't promote from within, that's what I don't get. You must have managers in the municipal manager of municipal enforcement services who have been working under this Gerald Spencer. Why they wouldn't move someone up into that position, I don't know. I'm sure they had to post the job. I mean, did nobody apply for it? I think some of the people who worked there already would have been competent. They've worked with it. They've worked with bylaw. They've worked with the meter parking. This guy's a really good friend of Mayor Jim's. Oh, I call him the Wayne Gretzky. Another appointment, maybe? I don't know. Sounds weird to me, but I don't know. I want to know. I'm going to be watching for that list to come out and see what this salary is, if it's on there. At Penny Brookify for the Diamond and Coal Show, which is going to be happening on December the 19th, by the way. Just air the rerun of last year's show. Same old, same old. And I've got it all listed out, and I've got last year's show exactly what we gave all the city councilors. The Diamonds and Coal Show is our show where we rate the city councilors over the last year. So we go around the horn in no particular order, and we go from Victor Peter Angelo to Mike Strange to Councillor Ruth Van Nieuwesteg to Councillor Cario to Councillor Lori Lococo to Councillor Tony Baldinelli to Councillor Mona Patel and Councillor Chris Dabrowski, and we rate them on their performance over the year. Now, at Penny Brookify is saying, don't even bother. Same old, same old. Just give them the same rating from last year and call it a show. Oh no, we're gonna rate it, and I'm gonna tell you why I rate it like that. Wheels is coming in, I hope, and he's gonna do the same thing, and we'll tell you why we give them diamonds for their Christmas stocking or coal. And a follow-up comment from at Penny Brookify: the only difference will be 2 Waynes were swapped. And if you remember, Wayne Thompson stepped down, resigned, and Chris Dabrowski sat in his place. And then Wayne Campbell actually passed away. And Councillor Vince Cario was brought in to replace him until the next election, which is next October. I think October 26th, 2026, something like that. Okay, the councilors have performed exactly the same as they always do. Lococo was the only one not getting coal, in my opinion. Well, you know what? I agree with you. I don't think Glory's going to get coal. I don't think so. Well, hey, you never know. You got to watch the show to figure out who's getting what. We may award some diamonds to people who you didn't think we might. Yeah, you never know. You got to watch. That's why you got to watch the show every day. You got to follow it like a soap opera over here. It's like a soap opera around here. Okay, and a follow-up to my Guess Who I'm Talking About show. And it's funny that nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody wanted to touch this. And nobody commented on who they thought the group that Andrea Horwath, mayor of Hamilton, the NDP socialist, was talking about when I spoke about it on my show yesterday. She was abhorred and dismayed and, oh man, going on and on about this group that peacefully marched in Hamilton. They peacefully marched, and she was beside herself, saying, "We don't accept this. We can't accept this." I mean, she's got terrorists protesting there, and she's worried about this other group. Well, anyway, who was the group? Nobody said that. I get it. It's a sensitive subject that nobody wanted to talk about except me, I guess. I don't mind talking about it. They won't broach the subject. Let me tell you the answer to fill in the blank of yesterday's show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to yesterday's show, watch the beginning of it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, the group she was talking about that had a peaceful march was what she called a white supremacy group. I'm not sure which one it was, but they were there, and that caused a lot of dismay from the mayor. But no trouble for anybody. They were quiet. They marched quietly. They have the right to do that as much as any Palestinians or Muslims or Pride or LGBTQ alphabet people. They have a right too. I mean, they don't have a right to cause trouble. Nobody does. But they have that right too. And because she doesn't like it, she's beside herself, calling the cops and talking to the police chief. Oh, ba-bee, ba-boo, ba-boo. Hey, when they get out of line, hammer them. What they stand for, you might not like. And there's a lot of people who don't like what Palestine stands for in Hamas. And there's a lot of people who don't like what Muslims stand for in Islam. And there's a lot of people who don't like what the gay people stand for and the LGBTQ. They don't like what they stand for, but they have the right as long as they don't cause any trouble. And you can't just pick and choose who has this right. You either support them all or you support none of them. And I'm not saying support these white supremacist groups. So don't come on me and tell me, oh, you're a white supremacist, you're this, you're that. No, I'm not. I'm not. But I do believe they have the right to peacefully protest like everybody else does. And if they get out of line, hammer them. Hammer them. No matter how much you hate it and are against what they believe in, their right to peacefully march has to be protected, just as the rights of Palestinians, BLM, Antifa, other terrorist designated groups have the right to peacefully march as well. We might not like what they stand for. We may not like what they're doing. We may not like they've been named a terrorist group around the world, Antifa, but if they don't cause any trouble, they have the right to march. And her reaction is off the charts about this. And that's the point of the whole thing. She never talks that way about other groups. She's not abhorred and beside herself and going over the top and releasing statements from these other groups. So smarten up. Enough said. Enough said about that. That's who I was talking about. That's who she was talking about. That was the fill in the blank question for yesterday. There you go. Now you know. Okay, so I did go in and take a cursory look at the City Council agenda for December 9th. That's on Tuesday, starting at 4 o'clock. Usually starts a little bit later. And some highlights I'll be talking about on Monday's show with Dave Wheeler when we do the City Council agenda review. Tune in to get more information about all these topics, but I'll give you the kind of the layout of what they're going to be talking about. You can look it up yourself. You go to niagarafalls.ca, look for City Council agenda, and it'll pop up, and you can click on the agenda, and you can go right through it yourself. Read the PDFs, read the planning matters, read whatever's in there. So the mayor's going to give us his proposed wastewater budget. And all I can tell you is when you go in there and look, hold on to your wallets as it's not a pretty report. We'll talk more about it on Monday. There's going to be the planning matter for the Meteor Crater, 4500 Park Street. To me, salute, excuse me. It's kind of silly to have this matter at City Council. I mean, they already have a fence around it. They've already had a public meeting. They've already broke ground. And then after the fact, they're going to go through planning and approve it? I mean, why not just, it's approved? What are they trying to make it look like if there's a possibility it's not going to get passed? I mean, we're partners, the city, for 40% of it. What, are they going to turn it down? No, of course they're not. So it's kind of goofy, but it's in there. Let's see. Project Shark Tank. Project Shark Tank. That's a good one. Watch out for that. We'll be talking about that on Monday. New schedule for licensing fees. So they're going to tell you how much you're going to get zipped for licensing fees. Interim 2026 spending limits. So we'll talk about that on Monday too. But what happens is that because Niagara Falls doesn't do the capital budget and operating budget at once, we separate them out. We'll do the capital budget on Tuesday. Well, we've already gone through it. Now it's a matter of ratifying it. And then we'll do the operations budget towards the end of January in the end of January meeting. So because they do that and taxes begin on January the 1st, they have to pass a resolution to be able to charge you, even though they don't know what your rate is going to be for 2026, because they don't pass it until the end of January, but they need their money. So basically, what they do is they charge us the same thing they charged us last year for the first 2 quarters of 2026. And then anything that they don't pick up in the first 2 quarters because taxes are going up. We know that. They'll get in the last 2 quarters. So your payments will be a little bit higher in the last 2 quarters to make up for it, a little bit lower in the first 2 quarters because they won't be able to reflect the raise for 2026 on those first 2 quarters. That's basically what that's all about. They're just ratifying that, the 2026 spending limits, and I think that also includes the departments. They can only put in 50% of what they've actually been approved for until the operations budget is ratified, because they need money to operate too, right? Integrity Commission report: Burdett versus Strange. Jody Burdett versus Mike Strange. Interesting report. You'll be able to see that. Go in there and look at it. We'll talk about that on Monday. And the Niagara Peninsula Energy Corporation Hydro report. So we're going to see the report on that in the minutes of the meeting on Tuesday. We'll talk about that. So there's your highlights. Go to niagarafalls.ca. Check out the agenda. You can see it for yourself, and we'll talk all about it on Monday's show anyway. Me and Dave Wheels will be in, and we'll go from there. But that's what's happening. There you go. That's what to look for. They're the highlights, and the rest is fluff. Okay, so we're not only getting hit with the capital budget, we're getting slammed by the water, wastewater increase and the Niagara Transit increase, which is looking rather dismal at this point in time. It looks like we're going to get a 6.76% increase in their budget, which means more taxes for us to pay. And that will all become apparent when we look at our operations budget for the city. So if we tally it up, and we'll talk more about this as well, we have a 2.5% for the capital budget increase, 6.67% for the transit budget, a water wastewater budget coming in at a whopping 7.5%, and the operations budget most likely coming in at 3.5%, because they said they want a 6% increase this year. And I don't know if that includes the 1% asset management fee or not. We'll find out. We'll have to find out when it comes to the final tally. To be clear, the transit, police, garbage, and wastewater budgets are all at the regional level. They're all coming into us from the region. And the expense for it is passed on to the different municipalities. So the actual increase in each sector are a part of a much larger regional budget. It's shared. Now, the region is saying they want a 10% increase. So if they get a 10% increase, a part of that 10% increase will be coming over to each municipality split up. So you won't get a 10% increase from the region. You will get a percentage of the 10% increase. That's the way it works. And away we go. So, Niagara Falls case, it's going to be represented in the operations budget. And the only exception to all of that is the water, wastewater, which is billed independent of property taxes. So when the taxes go out and they show you that nice little presentation with the pie chart, they always have the region as the biggest villain. They can make the region the biggest demon in all the tax situation. And which they are. I mean, they're correct about that. The region is a never-ending money pit that all taxpayers have to fill. But make no mistake that city council could come in at zero budget and make the burden on us a lot less than it will be. They have control of the municipal budget. They can bring us in at zero or very low and help us out if they want to, no matter how much they demonize the region. So don't let them off the hook. Now, the transit system itself is crazy because you got to remember that when we used to run transit in Niagara Falls, it was $7.5 million a year to the budget. And once it was transferred, everything was transferred. All the equipment, everything was transferred to the region on January 1st, 2023. We've been screwed since then. What was supposed to happen, it was supposed to be revenue neutral. We hand it over to the region, hand our assets over, our buses and everything else, and it's going to be revenue neutral. It's not going to affect us. Well, guess what? It's doubled for us. Now it's over doubled. And we pay more, double, maybe more than double now. Bad move that we did that. Taxpayers have paid for that bad move for 3 years now, and it isn't going to get any better. And Lori Lococo keeps asking about it, and she just gets pushed to the side. Well, this was supposed to be revenue neutral. Oh, yeah, man. And, they give you some gaslighting. But I'm going to have Al McKay in the studio December 12th, next Friday. So a week today, Al McKay will be in from the Property Taxpayers Alliance. He's going to discuss the events of December 11th regional budget meeting. Be sure to tune in for that show if you want to stay informed and know what's going on. And we'll talk about all that that's going on at City Council on Tuesday, including the ridiculous, my wiener is hanging out of my pants because I can't afford new pants awards. Tune in Monday for all this and more. Awards, everybody's getting awards. And I do have a text message here. And it says, the group is called Second Sons. Now they're talking about the white supremacy group that attended the Hamilton walk, I guess, and I didn't think it was Second Sons. I thought it was another one, but that's fine. I just kind of skimmed who it was. I never really paid attention to who it was because just another group marching peacefully. Why am I worried about it? But that's the one Mayor Horwath was going crazy over. They are a Canadian nationalist and white nationalist group. They were in Niagara-on-the-Lake at Brock's Monument in August. And I remember that. That's true. They did have a peaceful march there. They never bothered anybody. They had their shirts on and their black and white shirts on or whatever. And when you talk to the guy, Jeremy McKenzie, I think his name was, if my memory serves me well, he said that they were just a group of guys that got together, worked out, kept in shape, and they just got brotherhood. So thank you for that. Whoever sent that in, I'm not sure who sent that in. I just see the number. I don't see a name. So it's not in my records, but thanks for sending that in. Second Sons appears to be the group that was marching up there. And if anybody knows anything different, 289-994-7560 is where you text me to let me know about different things that I'm talking about. Okay, over to Wacky Welland. Oh, I love Welland. I love talking about Welland. It's the wackiest place ever. But they set their budget coming in at 4.01%. That's the increase, a bit more than the 3.57% handed down by Mayor Frank Campion. So he handed down 3.57. They wanted to complete a few more projects, so they upped it to 4.01%. And that number does not include Niagara Regional taxes, education taxes, or the wastewater increase in Welland. Now, I think the thing is that Welland can come up with this blended number, which we can't right now, because they handle their capital budgets and operation budgets at one meeting. They do it all and come up with a number, whereas we take two meetings like I explained before. Now, the wastewater increase looks like it's going to be around 7.5%. It's outside of the city control. They said 7% in Welland. So look for that kind of increase for Niagara Falls as well. We'll talk about that on Monday's show. Something unusual has happened in St. Catharines. Really weird, but it can only be accomplished by one group. Rankin Construction finished the St. Paul West Bridge reconstruction 1 year ahead of schedule. Are you kidding me? 1 year ahead of schedule? That's unheard of when you're dealing with city projects. Holy crap. Our exchange was 3 years behind and $5 million over budget. I would imagine they came in on budget too, giving the business people on St. Paul West a huge boost. And in downtown St. Catharines too, because that's the main route to go to downtown St. Catharines. As they were struggling through the construction, if anybody from that St. Paul West on the other side of that bridge wanted to come into the city shopping and doing everything. They had to go all the way around. And a lot of people just didn't bother. Either they have to go down to the QEW or something and get back in and come around that construction of that bridge, or they had to go down to I would say probably down to Pelham Road, down Van Vansicle or something to Pelham Road, and then come around the other way. So this is huge that it's done a year before schedule. Congratulations. The bridge opened this week, and Rankin, who won a $34.88 million budget, contracted for the bridge, accomplished the build along with reconstructing Ridley Road with water mains, sewers, and sidewalks and a roundabout, along with creating a new parking lot at the GO train station. So that's amazing that they were able to do it and cut off a year on construction. And they say it's a source of pride for Rankin. Tom Rankin said his company pushed it hard because they know businesses in the area were suffering from the shutdown, and they were tired of taking detours around the city. He said as many as 5 of his crews were working on the project at any one time, 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they got the job done. Hey, it's possible. The only thing left is the GO train station precinct project, which should be done by December 19th, and then it's totally completed. The main goal is getting that bridge replaced and open. They're also working at the new Niagara Falls Hospital site in the Asahi EV battery separator plant in Port Colborne. Asahi. Another big $49 million project that Rankin has won to build a new tunnel under the Welland Canal for sewers and water mains to serve that new Asahi plant and other PC industrial lands is also being taken on by Rankin. So they've done great. And if you remember, Rankin stepped into Chippewa to save that Main Street build. The guys from Hamilton, what were they called? Seaway or Sea Park or something. They screwed everything up. They had everything screwed up. And finally, they were fired. You're fired. And Rankin stepped in and did it all. It was a beautiful job they did. Quick, finished it off. Really nice. Straightened all that out. And good for them. They're a local company. They do great work. Finished a year ahead on that St. Paul West Bridge. Congratulations to Rankin. And they're a great company working for all the people of Niagara Falls and the Niagara region. They really are top of the heap. Second sponsor today is Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And you know, I'm a pizza snob. I think everybody knows that by now. I'm a pizza snob. I only like certain pizzas, and that's the way it is. And Pete's Pizza is one of the ones I really like. Why? Because they have they check off every box. They're consistent. They use the Mancini family recipe for sauce and crust. It's fantastic. They know how to mix the cheese with the sauce on the pizza in the right ratios. They know how to cook it. They use fresh toppings. How can you beat a Pete's Pizza pie? I mean, it's just fantastic and it's consistent. It's always good. You can depend on them. But they're not just a one-trick pony over here. They make great chicken wings, steak and cheese poutine. They make great panzerotti, chicken parm sandwiches. They run the whole gamut of food. You're not going to go wrong if you order from Pete's Pizza. I can guarantee you that. They use all the different services, skip, dine. You can order off their website, petespizza.victoria.ca, or you can just give them a call at 905-374-2222. You're going to get a pizza the way you want it every single time from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. They also have a new location out on Thoroldstone Road in Kaler for the people in the northwest section of Niagara Falls. So you're in on the goodness too, people. They got you in on it as well. Order your pizza today. You know you want one. Come on, get a pizza. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And please support our sponsors. They're great people and they support the city. They're just a good corporate citizens. Okay, so I saw this story and I go, what the hell's the matter with people? You know, people are just, they suck. You see the images of the guy that took a four-wheeler to the doors at Niagara College's wine storage site, smashed the doors down, stole a bunch of wine, and came back two more times during the night to steal more. Yeah, he used an ATV to smash the doors in, and he returned twice during the night to steal more. He didn't have enough of the few cases he could load on the ATV. He came back and got more. He was wearing a full face motorcycle helmet, a green jacket, brown pants, black shoes, and a black backpack. I mean, it could be anybody. Could be anybody. What kind of description is that? But that's what the video cameras show you. And when you disguise yourself, it's hard to tell who it is. But let's face it, this had to be planned. Somebody knew all this wine was in there, and they knew they could just bust down those doors. They had it all planned out. It's definitely a local resident. I mean, I would say that lives close by to the storage facility. They know nobody's there at night. They take their ATV, roar down, what is it, Concession 8, Line 5 at Concession 8, between Queenston and Concession 8. Go down there, go around back, pop out the doors with their ATV, load them up, take them to their home, come back for another load, a couple more loads. Now they got a bunch of wine at their house. I'd say they're probably pretty close by. I mean, think about it. The only other way to do this would be to get your ATV up on a trailer or in the back of your pickup truck if it fits. And then you're going to drive all the way down there, unload it, go to there, come back, put the cases in your truck, then go back and put more cases in. I mean, this doesn't seem like the way to do it to me. If there's too much of a chance of somebody seeing you with a pickup truck, the ATV, and where do you put the ATV once you got all the wine in the back of the truck and that? You might not have room in the truck. So it could have been a trailer, but somebody's going to notice this. If you just came from a house that somebody that lives around there, it'd be so easy. You just come down that street. There's nobody on that street at night. Go and do what you got to do. Roar back to your house. And I mean, we're not talking about houses that are close to each other. There's farmhouses that are, way, way away from each other. You'd never even see anything. Shut the lights off. You don't know anything. So I think it should be pretty easy to catch this wine burglar. If the cops can figure it out, I don't know. Are detectives that sharp? Hey, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out for sure. But yeah, who would do that? What, geez, Niagara College. There's a way people will steal anything. Okay, elbows up, pants down. Youch, that hurts. Stellantis took $15 billion from the Canadian government and promptly invested it in the U.S. That's right, they're moving to the U.S. and investing $13 billion to up their production in the U.S. Mark Carnage, the master negotiator, the only one that could handle Trump. You know what? It looks good on him. Another guys that they're moving down there. They're gonna get the hell out of Canada. $1 billion they're gonna spend in the States. Who was the other one that just said they're gonna go down there? Algoma laid off 1,000 people. Somebody else is going down there and building. I mean, this is what you voted for, you silly Canadians. uh, oh, the only guys who like these guys is Joe DiBiase. He's the only one who ever brags about Mark Carney on the internet I ever see. Anyway, I don't know. They got one vote that I know of. How'd they win the election? Silly Canadians. Okay, and down to Venezuela, things are really ramping up, and I think I'm thinking about this when Trump's going to strike, because it's been threatening for a week or so now that he's going to go in there. He had to talk with Maduro, and Maduro wanted to keep $200 million US dollars of his private wealth, amnesty for his officials, in a safe harbor in a friendly country as part of his deal to get out of the country. Trump gave him the ultimatum: out, or your whole family and you could be killed. But now he's laying down his what he wants. He wants to keep $200 million of his private wealth, amnesty for his officials, and a safe harbor in a friendly country as part of the deal for him to get out of the country. Now, the plan is fell apart, of course. Maduro wanted Trump's vow to give blanket amnesty to about 100 of his top officials. Trump suggested Russia or China as a place where Maduro could find safe harbor. Maduro wants to stay in the Western Hemisphere, maybe Cuba, and Trump saying, no dice. You're not going to be close enough to run things again or to run them from Cuba. Staying in the Western Hemisphere is out, and he's reached out to Qatar as a possible safe compromise between China, Russia, and Cuba. Either way, he's on borrowed time, with the U.S. just waiting to pounce on Venezuela and effect government change, wipe out the drug cartels. The U.S. views Edmundo Gonzalez as the rightful president of Venezuela following a fraudulent election in 2024. And Trump also wants to ensure that drug Cartel de los Soles, is also taken down after Maduro is gone. And that is another problem, as de los Soles is a network of military and political officials who run much of the country's drug trade. With or without Maduro, it will continue on. So I'm thinking, what would be a good time for Trump to go in there? Well, this weekend we have the anniversary of Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th. Wouldn't that be a nice time for Trump to get in there and blow the hell out of these guys? Well, he might do it. He might do it. But look for December 7th. I'm not saying I have any inside information. I'm just thinking, what a way to celebrate Pearl Harbor Day. Going in there and getting rid of the leader of the drug cartel. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Could happen any second. It could have happened right now. They've had B-52s flying the coast again, checking out their defenses and everything else. So you never know when it's going to happen. It could happen anytime. Well, I'm thinking December 7th would be a fitting day, Pearl Harbor Day, to do that. Now over to Minneapolis. If Ilan Oman isn't in enough trouble with her big anti-Semite mouth, check this out. So she's an anti-Semite. We know that. She's got a big mouth. We know that. We hear her every day. Threatening Trump, actually. Saying that Trump will be long gone by the time she's gone. What does that mean? But here's what's happening. The walls are closing in. Federal agents are reportedly moving to seize Ilhan Omar's congressional salary after linking her to a massive financial fraud scandal that could strip her of everything. Now, this Somalian comes to the United States, marries her brother to get into the country. Never told anybody it was her brother, said it was her husband, but it was her brother she officially married. And then she married somebody else, she's a bigamist. She lied on her immigration forms, so she shouldn't even be here. She's talked nothing but hate America, sedition. How is she still here? She could only survive under the left-wing governor of Minnesota, Tampon Tim Walz, and Biden. Who else would let this happen? And here she is in Congress. She got elected by Somalians. They dropped her into 30 other thousand Somalians who are most of them are in on this welfare fraud, sending the money back to Al Shabaab in Somalia, terrorist group. I mean, this is the biggest fraud case in the history of the United States. Billions of dollars fraudulently obtained through the welfare system and then sent back to Somalia to a terrorist group. And she's right in the middle of it. Now, how does she's worth $20 to $30 million. How does a congressperson making $130,000 a year or something like that, how do they get their hands on $20 to $30 million? It's amazing. AOC, another one. She's worth $20 million. How is she worth $20 million? You don't do it making $150,000 a year in 6 or 7 years. So crooked. USAID funds, so crooked. Billions getting sent back. These people collect welfare and then send it back to their home country, to Al-Shabaab terrorist group. What started as a murmur about her has erupted into a political earthquake. Watchdogs have officially connected her to federal fraud cases involving defaulted student loans, the very same loans she aggressively lobbied for while allegedly refusing to pay her own debts. I mean, this goes far beyond hypocrisy. Critics are calling it criminal behavior, and that it is. Her own paychecks are now in the crosshairs, and the calls for her immediate removal and deportation are deafening. Is this the end of her career? I mean, if you saw the damning financial evidence that Washington has, you'll know why she's in a panic. And she's going to go. It's only a matter of time now. It's all there, and she's going. Now, speaking of Somalians in Minnesota, a journalist spent a day interviewing Somalians in Minneapolis. Ilhan Omar's territory. All Somalians brought in by Obama and Biden, asking residents if they preferred Sharia law over American law. The responses were stunning. In clip after clip, every individual interviewed said they preferred Sharia law over American law, and many openly said they would rather live in Somalia than the U.S. What the hell are they doing here? Asked about forced marriage, one said a father can make his daughter marry anybody. In the age, 15 years old. Asked about violence for insulting Muhammad. Is it right to kill someone who insults the Prophet Muhammad is the question. The answer, yes. Nobody should disrespect him. Asked about choosing where to live. Would you rather live here or in a Muslim country? Answer, Muslim country. Would you rather live in Somalia? Somalia. Even though you have all the freedom here? Answer, even though I have all the freedom here, I'd rather live in Somalia. So this is what people are saying. And of course, the question does become, what the hell are you doing here? And the most likely answer is money. They're getting free money. They're getting free room, free board, free money, sending it back to terrorist groups. Everything's free for them. Why wouldn't they want to stay here? Why would they want to go back to Somalia? Who funds terrorism in America? The United States government. That's who. Go figure. The United States government is the real funder because they give these people money to fund Al-Shabaab. They have operatives in the United States who cause trouble. I mean, ICE is going nuts in Minnesota right now. They're rounding them all up and sending them back. No fooling around. And my thing is, carry on. Good job. So we're going to see what's going to happen here because these guys are all going back. I think out of 86 people who were arrested already for welfare fraud, 79 of them were from Somalia. Speaking of mentally handicapped people, the Democratic Party is not going to give up on Trump. They're going to discredit him until the midterms, using lies and whatever else it takes to pull a coup on him. And that's what this is all about. What you see now, Epstein, and every week there's something else. Now it's this guy wants to impeach Trump. The latest joke. Mainstream media is complicit and pushes these narratives. This rep from Michigan launching articles of impeachment on Secretary of War Peter Hegseth. Representative Sri Thanindar. Oh man, these people are whacked. He announced he will launch articles of impeachment against Hegseth, saying the Secretary of War has to go. He's incompetent. He's violated. He has committed war crimes. He must go, he added. And if Republicans are willing to look at this for the merit of the case and not just their loyalty to President Trump, this can be done. He he pointed to Hegseth's use of the encrypted messages app Signal with other administration officials to discuss a pending strike on Houthi targets. And one reason is using that as a reason to oust him. He also cited reporting that Hegseth ordered military leaders to kill everybody in a September 2nd strike on an alleged group of drug smugglers in the Caribbean. And we've heard about that now. They're crying about that. That's another one they're crying about. And every week from now on, you are going to see these lunatics use these controversies. They're going to bring these things up. They're not controversial. Hegseth killed drug cartel members that were trying to smuggle drugs into the U.S. on a speedboat. They blew up the boat. 2 people were overboard. They tried to climb back in the boat and they clipped them both. Hey, they're terrorists. They've been declared terrorists. They're drug cartel members. And this is what they're going to do. Week after week after week after week, you're going to see more things about Trump. Whether it's Epstein, it doesn't matter. There's just going to be everything. And in a statement from Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson said that Secretary Hegseth will continue to protect the American homeland from terrorists and cartel drug runners, while Rep. Sri Thanandar tries to win points with his base to fend off his political opponents. The midterms are coming up. These guys might all get thrown out, and they're trying to make this crap up. Now, this loony, if you remember, also introduced articles of impeachment against President Trump in April, calling him for Trump to be impeached for the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. If you remember that guy, who they said was a model citizen, but meanwhile he's a member of Trente Aragua, and he killed a bunch of people, murdered people, and they sent him to El Salvador, going to prison, and then the governor of New Jersey and somebody else, I think New Jersey, somewhere on the East Coast, flew down to El Salvador to make a case for this guy. The president of El Salvador said he's an El Salvadorian citizen, and he's a criminal. He's staying here. But somehow they got this guy back. Now Trump's sending him to Uganda or something in prison. But he tried to impeach Trump for that. Democrats didn't back the motion, and they joined the Republicans in tabling Thanandar's articles. They even recognized him as a whack job, and Trump calls him a lunatic. So we have another cuckoo now, Al Green from Texas, saying he's going to impeach Trump. He's going to file impeachment articles of impeachment against Trump. And this isn't happenstance. This isn't just happening by accident. They're going to take a no. This is all premeditated. It's all planned. They're using every dirty trick of the book to try to impeach Trump, to try to make him look bad, and they want to win these midterms come up in 2026. Why, you ask? Because if the unthinkable happened, if they actually took over the House and Senate, that would be it. Trump would be a lame duck for his last 2 years. He wouldn't be able to do anything. And the only way they can do it, because everything Trump's doing is good, is to try and discredit him week by week. Week by week, they come up with something new. It'll be something else next week and something else the week after that. And they've been doing it since 2016 when he came down the escalator to announce that he was running for president. 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, a criminal charge of being a felon, all dismissed, all full of baloney. What else they did? Oh, they tried to shoot him twice. It never ends. It never ends. And it's always something. It's all Epstein. It's Hegseth now. It's this. It's that. It's everything else. Oh, Letitia James and that. They got off. Some little Democratic judge let them off of their charge. They're going to go. They're going to get charged anyway. And it's going to happen. They got off. It's always something. Them taking them to court, Georgia and New York City, and trying to get him so he couldn't run for election. He couldn't campaign. Oh, yeah, it's all a planned coup. Jack Smith, they're all going to jail anyway. But it's an ongoing plot to undermine him. aided and abetted by the media, the left-wing media. And that's the only way they got a shot at winning the midterms in 2026, because right now it looks good for the Republicans. So we definitely don't want that to happen, and as Canadians, we don't want that to happen either. I know people hate Trump. They have TDS in Canada, and they blame him for everything happening in Canada. Even for the 11 years we've had the Liberals running the show, and they've been total disasters from Trudeau to Mark Carnage. It's been terrible. But the worst scenario would be Trump out of there and having these clowns run it, because what you're going to get running it is the radical left wing socialists of AOC and Talib and Omar and the whole bunch of these crooks. They're going to be the ones running it. Bernie Sanders, all the left wing lunatics are going to be running the show, because they're the ones running it, trying to run it right now. And the only thing between the United States and that is Trump. We saw what happened in New York City with Mem Dandy, a socialist, communist, avowed Muslim, getting elected by the people of New York City. And we certainly don't want them to be running the United States of America. That's for sure. Okay, and that's about it. I'm done with what I got to say for this week. Of course, we have a big week coming up next week, Monday the 8th, City Council Agenda Review. Tune in for that one on Monday. See what's going on. Tuesday, I'll go through more City Council with my opinions in the first part of the show. We'll do some final comments, because we'll see what pops up. Sometimes there's things added to the agenda we don't see on Monday morning. And then we'll get ready for the City Council meeting at 4 o'clock. Wednesday, the 10th of December is absolutely. Thursday, the 11th is I'm going to review City Council's decisions of the meeting on Tuesday. And we're going to check out the Regional Council meeting if anything comes out of that. Friday, Al McKay from Property Taxpayers Alliance will be in to talk about the regional budget that went down on Thursday night. And then we move to the 13th, 14th, the 15th, Monday the 15th, nothing special. And then during that week, we're gonna get through. I'm gonna have another guest in Chris Regas. Maybe I'll try to get him in, see what he thinks of the regional budget. He always has some good insight into it. The 19th is going to be Friday. The 19th is going to be the Diamonds and Coal show, where we give diamonds or coal to city councilors for their performance over the 2025 year, like 2025. What did they do for us? Anything? We'll compare it to last year. I got all the numbers. Then we're into Christmas week. Christmas Eve is what? The 23rd, or Wednesday. That'll be my Absolutely show, the last Absolutely show. And then I move to the 24th, Christmas Eve day. I won't do a show on that day. And then I'll be doing no shows between the week, except Absolutely, but I might get a couple in. I can't resist it. I gotta do it. But either way, we'll get it out to you, what's going on through the holidays, and then we're into the new year, 2026, another year of hope. That's it. I'm out of here. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification button. Help us out. It helps the algorithm. The more people that subscribe, the better. Get in there, subscribe. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get this party started. We got a year, not even a year before the election. Let's get everybody involved and get people out and let them know what's going on, who the candidates are going to be. We'll keep up to date on that through the whole 2026 year, until we finally have the people who are running and talk about them and do everything else towards the election. I'm in the studios of 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, across from the Meteor Crater. Don't forget to support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at noon. Promises made, promises kept. Your city, your voice. Be good this weekend. Enjoy it. It should be a pretty nice weekend, really. Maybe a little chilly, but pretty nice regardless. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.